Hello and welcome to the Southern View. I'm coming to you live from outside Chinnaswamy Stadium, gate number 21. One of the gates of tragedy last evening. At this time, people died right where I'm standing. This is gate number 21, one of the gates to enter the Chinnaswamy Stadium where the crowds had gathered. You see out there the guard, a security guard who was standing here, told me a short while ago people tried to climb over those walls all over the place. Those CCTV cameras there can tell you a huge tale of tragedy and how it unfolded yesterday. In fact, the security guard here said he had to run away along with his colleagues to save his life. So that was the scene here last evening. It's as if nothing has happened the moment here today. Several questions, important questions, several reactions, multiple comments, important to fix blame, and a big question on whether we will learn from this tragedy at least. We will post 10 questions on this show that can help figure who is responsible. We'll have a special panel on ground and joining us online on this show over the next 1 hour. But remember, as we fix that blame, today is a day of remorse, a day to remember the 11 lives that were lost. What greater pain than that of a parent who's lost a 13-year-old child who came for a cricket celebration, never came back home. 11 families distraught, devastated, and will never be the same again in their lives. Their lives will never be the same. Let's remember those who died last evening here, right here at the Chinnaswamy Stadium first, before we ask the tough questions.
My wife only did the CPR. In the spot only almost 90% she was injured. We waited in the police station for 4 hours to file the FIR. At 3 o'clock they entered into the Chinnaswamy Stadium. Those fellows, they have announced that to enter to the stadium very quickly, and in the 15th gate everybody was pushed. My daughter's headache went to hit it by this iron, and she fall backside. Then everybody.
She got injured at that time. Then
injured already in the spot only almost 90% she was injured. And my wife and my sister-in-law, they tried to take them to hospital. There only she died, sir.
How was the facility over there? I mean,
sir, facilities was not at all good, sir. Even there is no cops, and in the boring hospital, that is even they don't have to give oxygen mask. They don't have this one plug also, 3D plug. My wife only did the CPR.
How did you took her to the hospital, sir?
My wife she taken to cab only. During that time, lot of crowd was there. Jammers was there. Mobile is no signal. There is no ambulance facility. My wife asked so many police cops. They didn't help. She only taken her to hospital and all.
Management was not good, but after the injury also you didn't got the support from the system.
No support, sir. No support. We waited in the police station for 4 hours to file the FIR. Who will wait, sir, 4 hours during the situation? Nothing planned, sir. They didn't plan anything.
One appeal that you want to.
They will have bandwidth. How many people are coming? They need to forecast how many people are coming. Correct? Without forecast, how we will arrange all these things? So, what is the stadium capacity? What is the forecast? They have to do the forecast, and based on that, they have to arrange cops and city police or anything. At least ambulances, medical facilities. First aid, at least first aid also. If 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs people are gathering, means it is a sports one. If it is political one, they will do like that. They will not do, sir.
Also hearing that
Political meeting, they will arrange biryani, everything they will arrange.
Nothing can change. Nothing can bring back the ones we lost last evening here at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. As I mentioned, several questions that need to be raised, but will these lives that were lost at least be a lesson for the future? That's perhaps the biggest of them all. The key question that needs to be raised this evening is perhaps that. With me here outside this gate of tragedy, one of the gates of tragedy, as I mentioned at the start, are 3 Bengalurians, people who are RCB fans, but who have also witnessed what happened here yesterday. I have former Additional Director General of Police Sanjay Sahai. I have Sadashiv Shivanna of the Congress, GS Prashant of the BJP. I'll pose all the tough questions to them. I also have eyewitnesses here who will tell us what they saw last evening right outside. As I mentioned, I spoke to some of the guards as well behind this security gate. But for the moment, there was a cabinet meet here in Bengaluru, and it's concluded. And I have my colleague Deepak Bopanna joining me live. Deepak, what's the update that you can get us from the cabinet meeting? Has there been any clear response from the government? Of course, they said they've ordered a magisterial inquiry. There were emotional comments from the Deputy Chief Minister, not wanting to play the blame game. What's the outcome of that cabinet meet? Deepak Bopanna, will try and get back to you in a bit once your line is through. There was a cabinet meet that just concluded, we believe, a short while ago in Bengaluru. It's a usual cabinet meet, but of course, the key focus of it was the tragedy yesterday. Several important questions that need to be raised as well. Let's play some of the political reactions before we go across to Deepak Bopanna again and get the update on the cabinet meet. Let's play some of the political reactions from earlier in the day, including the one from the Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar.
Why was there a hurry? Was it the government that was in a hurry?
Joining us today here in the NDTV newsroom.
Cricket is a religion of sort in this country.
Would you like to comment on what happened?
What is the condition of the injured at this point? How many people died?
What exactly happened? You have lost your daughter.
Well, Deepak Bopanna, I believe we can go across to you. Tell us if you have an update from that cabinet meeting, Deepak. Has it concluded?
Well, Veera, most of the ministers have just stepped out of the cabinet. What I'm picking up from my sources here is that the cabinet had a very in-depth discussion about the Stampede. Right now, they're trying to ascertain what exactly happened. They've pulled some information. As we speak, just a while ago, the DG IGP of Karnataka, Mr. Salim Ahmed, the Commissioner of Bengaluru, Mr. Dayanand, all of them have been called inside. I'm told that there could be action initiated against police officials if they found that there was some sort of a lacuna on their part. Apart from that, a sequence of of events is what they're trying to ascertain. When did the stampede happen? And before the stampede, what was the situation? Who was manning these gates? After the stampede, did the police officials, ensure that this was communicated, that there was a possibility of another stampede, a death had occurred or injuries had occurred to the seniors? Because, while the event was happening in Vidhan Sauda, there was a stampede-like situation already at the Chinnaswamy. So was there a possibility that the event in Chinnaswamy altogether could have been cancelled, because there was a possibility as well that there could have been a disaster again? So these are all aspects that they are looking into. If they find that the officials who are manning these gates were at fault, then there would be action initiated against them, is what I'm told. They're also looking at the role of the KSEA, the RCB franchise, the DNA event management company as well in this. Now, these are multiple layers. One, there is a magisterial inquiry. There's an FIR right now. Of course, we had just on NDTV put out the FIR first, and that's another very important aspect in the FIR. Now, let me in fact take you through some of those details there as well. They've said that despite no permission being granted, KSEA, DNA Networks, and RCB franchise went ahead with the event. This is something that the FIR mentions because they are the main people who've been named as the accused in the FIR, as well as criminal negligence has been booked and an investigation is going to be taken forward. They're also saying that they failed to provide proper facilities to manage crowd entry even after being warned by the police. RCB social media account repeatedly posted about free passes at the stadium gates, further encouraging fans to gather. Another important aspect, police had already deployed maximum available resources, which prevented an even greater tragedy. So the police here clearly are saying we did our best, washing their hands off, and now passing the buck onto the RCB franchise, onto the KSEA, and even the DNA event management company.
Right. Thanks very much, Deepak, for that update. I think this evening there are multiple questions to be raised. 10, as I promised at the start of the show. 10 questions that we think could help decipher who is to blame and who is to take the blame. Perhaps collective could be the final conclusion, but we'll start with the first question that we are having here today. Who pushed for the event in a hurry? That's the key question, because most people have said a hurried event of this nature was a recipe for disaster. Was it players' needs that forced the event in such a hurry? That's my first big question this evening. Why did the government allow such an event? Would also be an auxiliary question to that. Sanjay Sahai, as a police officer, 6 to 8 hours, 7 a.m. in the morning, we believe from police sources that the tweets are already, the posts on social media are already out saying that this is going to be a victory celebration here. Is it enough time for the police force to get its act together? Do you believe that it was all done in too much hurry first?
See, first question first, as to who decided upon it. So we still don't know who decided, whether KSCI decided or IPL decided or the government decided. And your question starts with who forced this event. I don't think anybody can force an event on the state government, and if it is somebody tries to force, I think it should not be taken also, because the final responsibility will come of the security will come on the state government, which I see which is already happening. With regards to the time required for organizing something of this nature from a security point of view, 6 to 8 hours is certainly not sufficient time. There has although been some issues coming in the public domain that the police were not very inclined. So there is nothing to authenticate that. But suffice to say, when we were unaware of as to what the events would be, there are lots of smaller part of the events which were cancelled, inclusive of, I think, some road show between Vidhan Sauda and this stadium, which is at our back. When the event will happen and what will be the numbers? What do you require in an event from a security point of view? So you need to know the location. You need to know how many people will congregate. They will come from which place. What will be the access? In case of an eventuality of this nature, what is the crisis management? I don't think there's sufficient time to get into any of this. Additionally, if you really want to do it in 6 to 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, then it will be a different nature of an arrangement, and that we did not see yesterday.
You're making an important point. It had to be a different nature of an arrangement. Sadashiv Shivanna, the key question that's been raised since last evening has been, was it done in a hurry? Did the government rush in with the event and allow it to play out and hence ended in a tragedy?
First and foremost, Raghav sir, no amount of assurances, no amount of condolences, no amount of public dialogue or debate will bring back the lives that were lost. Right? And we are extremely disheartened that a celebration of joy and happiness was eclipsed by this tragic stampede. Now, insofar as the Congress party is concerned, our stand is unequivocal that no celebration is worth the loss of human lives. Right? Every security protocol at a public event are being strictly reviewed, and it will be strictly enforced in the near future. That is the stand of the Congress party as well as the state government. Insofar as the celebrations are concerned, prima facie
Hang on. I asked you a question and I'll get to other questions. Was it done in a hurry? Is there a regret that it was done in a hurry?
Let me answer that. A prima facie investigation reveals three things. One, that the RCB enforced or came with a rushing hurry on the account that certain overseas players were returning back to their home state or their respective countries. Number one. Number two, RCB management, they issued a public statement, took out to social media that tickets are free for everybody, knowing fully well that Chinnaswamy can host only 33,000 people. Apart from that, the manner in which the gates were opened on a regular match day, you would have seating accommodation start from 1 p.m. But here, in a tearing hurry, the management as well as the KSEA opened up the gates. Now, all these concerns will come out in a thorough and detailed investigation.
Why did the government then have the event? I'll come back to you. GS Prashant, are you satisfied with this answer that RCB pushed for the event? They opened the gates in a hurry. That's the response from the Congress spokesperson.
What else can you expect from Congress? They have never owned up responsibility for any of their failures. History suggests that Congress will never accept their mistakes. Let's not get on to what mistakes Congress has committed for the past 75 years. That list is too long to go on. Now, how can RCB or somebody force a government to say, I want to do this event? And can RCB force a felicitation on the steps of Vidhan Sauda? Is it permissible? Which means who's running the government here? Which means Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, what are they then? Listening to private franchisee owners to decide that they will have a felicitation event on the steps of Vidhan Sauda? It is this chief minister's tweet which while congratulating RCB, said that they are felicitating them on the grand steps of Vidhan Sauda and that he welcomed everybody to the event. So therefore, once the CM has welcomed everybody in a public tweet, people obviously will congregate, and the security probably was at its lowest. They have not made any arrangements for it. No amount of barricading, no route supervision. So therefore, this was a man-made recipe for disaster, and I can say it is a state-sponsored murder of innocent cricket-loving fans.
Quick response, Sadashik, before I go to my guests online.
I just want to expose the hypocrisy of the BJP. 1 second. Early in the morning, RCB tweeted that 7 a.m. we will conduct an open bus rally. What did the BJP tweet? Ask them. They tweeted that you must allow it when the Congress government, in consultation with the police officials, Chief Minister, Home Minister, stated in anticipation of an event such as this one, we stated public rally will not be allowed. What did the BJP say? No, it is disheartening, it is dishonoring to the RCB fans and the players that you will not permit such an incident. Few hours later, they're playing politics over dead bodies. That's what we expect from the BJP.
Okay, you both have made your point. I've given you that. I'm just wanting a yes or no answer. Event was hurried. Yes or no?
The event was naturally hurried and we all take collective responsibility, but do not pull it.
Event was hurried.
Event was hurried.
Event was hurried.
Definitely hurried, no question about it.
And you supported it at the time?
Vida, let me tell you, once you want a victory parade, the reason is if you have a parade from say HAL airport to Chinnaswamy Stadium, people will congregate at different places. It will not lead to 2 lakh people in Chinnaswamy Stadium. You will have had 5,000 people in each junction.
We'll get to the other points. Everyone agrees that the event was hurried, and in fact, all observers say that that's perhaps the key question. Who allowed that hurry is the more important question. Let me go across to former India cricketer Dilip Doshi, who's joining me on Zoom as well. Mr. Doshi, cricket is a religion, as we say in India. The frenzy was to be perhaps enjoyed and expected. But do you think that there is often the players' priorities and their celebrations that seem to be more important than other concerns? Everything else revolves around having the stars at the right time.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me on the program. I'm really, really sad to learn what has gone on And my heart goes out to the family of all the people, all the children, and all the people who have lost their lives. And really, I mean, I offer a prayer. Now, coming back to the question, I'll talk to the cricketer first. I think the cricketers here have never asked that a parade be held or they should be the prime heroes in this. Of course, cricketers are loved by millions. And during my times, I have gone through being honored by a lot of fans. But now you look at this thing. Everything has become show business. The entertainment is so huge. It's a huge industry now. So when RCB won after so many years of wait, it is understandable that there will be a frenzy of fans. And the news that the cricketers may appear themselves is also very exciting for the children. So now I break it in two parts. I'm a parent and I'm a grandfather as well. So I look at it like this. I would like every family to teach their children that we need to honor ourselves first. Nothing is bigger than yourself. You may love, you may admire a cricketer, a film star, whatever it is. But I think you must not put yourself below anybody else. Right. So what happens in our country is we are emotionally so struck and so bound. That's why sometimes we lose the sense of being ourselves. So my real request to all the parents, and I know it's a difficult time, to instill in every child the self-respect and self-belief. After that, you may admire somebody, you may do whatever you want. Of course, I do not know politically or organization-wise what went wrong. I have been listening to this, so obviously it's a multiple point of questions. Pardon? Sorry, did you?
You're bringing another dimension to this conversation. Important point that you make there. Let me go across quickly because you say that to Soumi De Sarkar, who's an RCB fan as well. Somewhere, Soumi De Sarkar, fans should also take responsibility for the frenzy that they play out, for the frenzy that they unleash, if I can say so, when they want to get into a stadium. Soumi.
Absolutely. And I say this as someone who has really loved this game deeply for as long as I can remember. I understand the passion, the pride, everything, the frenzy that goes around it. We always relive these iconic moments. We honor this game's rich legacy. But this blind, unquestioning worship, this just doesn't help anyone. Because far too often, we the fans, we though are the soul of the sport, we are reduced to just a number. We are often overlooked. We are taken for granted. So it's also a lot of responsibility on our side to understand how much of frenzy, how much of this uncontrolled celebration is something that we should be really indulging ourselves into. We have seen this multiple times. Like even as a matter of fact, as a fan, leave aside this incident which has been extremely tragic and the grief cannot be imagined. I cannot even start to imagine what the families are going through sitting so far away. But, even when we go to a stadium these days, is it the best of the situations? Is it the best of the facilities that the fans are given? Though the fact that it is this frenzy of the fans that gives this game this privilege of being so cash rich.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's also a lot of our responsibility that comes into the picture.
It's an important point, and you've conceded to the fact that the fans should be responsible as well. The next big question, and this is the third big question the fourth big question that I'm asking this evening. Was the event announced without permissions? Was the event announced without permissions? And it's an important question which is likely to become a point of contention. Before I get back to my political guests and Sanjay Sahai, I have somebody here who was there yesterday at this place. You were also there right here at this place, sir. I was also right here at this place. आपको पता था कि क्या होने वाला था? Was there any clarity that you had as to what was going to unfold here? Did you know about the events that were going to play out? What did you witness here yesterday when you were standing?
सबसे पहले मैं उन 11 अपने भाई बहनों को श्रद्धांजलि देना चाहता हूं। उन परिवार को मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूं कि उनको हिम्मत दे। और दूसरी बात इतना कहना चाहता हूं, जब इस माहौल पे मैंने देखा था, ये ऐसा माहौल था जिसकी कल्पना में नहीं कर सकता था। ये मेरे सोच से बाहर था। जब मुझे मेरे घर से मालूम पड़ा कि मेरा बेटा भी यहाँ आया हुआ है इस सेलिब्रेशन को देखने के लिए, तो वहाँ पर मोबाइल के नेटवर्क वगैरह लभी सब स्लो हो चुके थे। तो मैंने इमीडिएट अपने बेटे से कांटेक्ट किया। उन्होंने बोला पापा आई एम इन फ्रंट ऑफ द स्टेडियम, देयर इज अ ह्यूज क्राउड। मैं बोला बेटा कम बैक, सिचुएशन इज नॉट बैड, गुड। तो मैंने अपने बेटी से कहा बेटा प्लीज ट्राई टू कॉन्टैक्ट योर ब्रदर, ही इज 25 ईयर्स ओल्ड। तो उन्होंने कांटेक्ट किया। वो इमीडिएट जब मैंने उनको डांटा, फोन में डांटा, मैसेज में डांटा।
ये कितने बजे?
ये 4:30 बजे की बात है। तब तक सिचुएशन पूरा आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल हो चुका था। मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है हमने 11 भाई बहन को खोया है। 4:30 बजे पहली कैजुअलिटी होती है, उसके बाद दिखाया जाता है कि विधानसभा के ऊपर खड़े होके राजनेता अपने परिवार के साथ,
क्रिकेटर भी तो खड़े,
क्रिकेटर भी खड़े थे। क्रिकेटर की मैं गलती इसलिए नहीं बोलूंगा, उनका अपने राजनेता अपने परिवार के साथ, एमएलए, चीफ मिनिस्टर इनवाइटेड, डीसीएम इनवाइटेड, और जो बड़े बड़े मिनिस्टर, एमएलसी, एमएलए बैठे थे अपने परिवार के साथ वहां सेल्फी ले रहे थे। और डेथ होने के बाद सबने अपनी अपनी सेल्फी को ट्विटर, इंस्टाग्राम में डाला है। शर्म नहीं आती है? 11 आदमी की लाशें पड़ी हुई है और आप सेल्फी बना रहे हैं।
Important point that you're making there. Syed Asad Abbas is also here. He was walking by and he's joined us, a noted Bengalurian. You heard the sentiment that's out there. Why did the celebrations go on? We'll get to that question, but the fact is that there seems to have been total confusion. What's the sense that you got?
As a Bangalorean, I'm completely gutted today, absolutely gutted, and I can't be more. I do understand the gentleman who spoke before me. Emotions are on high. 18 years it took Bengaluru. The joy turned into pain and sorrow. It is absolutely unfortunate. I've always believed if there is power, there needs to be accountability, and accountability needs to be fixed. There needs to be a responsibility taken. Heads must roll. There needs to be resignations. We Bangaloreans are today heartbroken, devastated, and shattered. We need answers. We need action.
Answers. So let me find the answers to the question that I have just raised. Was the event announced without permissions? Did the organizers announce the event without permissions? Because one of the points that's been made, and we will come to why it was allowed, but the fact is that do organizers in an event of this nature think that it's their right to have an event of this nature? How much of responsibility would you put on RCB and KSCA as well?
Veera, firstly, we have to get to the root of the matter as to who organized it. If an event is being organized on the steps of Vidhan Sauda, can it be RCB wanting an event on Vidhan Sauda? No. The Vidhan Sauda event was planned by the CM and DCM because all the family members of the politicians were there, busy in photo operations, which means, and going by the CM's tweet inviting everybody for the felicitation, it was a state-sponsored event, and other parties to it might have agreed, saying that yes, you are felicitating a team, RCB is part of it. If KSCA, the stadium belongs to them, KSCA would have agreed. So the primary responsibility and the buck will stop with Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar and the non-existent Home Minister Parameshwara, which has led to this murder of 11 cricket fans.
All right, you've reiterated that point. Even if it was announced, as you say, without permission, Sadashiv Shivanna, the problem is that it was organized only with permissions by the government. That's where everybody is pointing to the top of the political leadership.
No, it is an admitted fact that, of course, RCB, a team that we all follow and cherish, wins an IPL title after 18 years. The state government is well entitled to felicitate them, right? But how should it be done? What should be done? The RCB announced free tickets. The RCB announced an open bus parade without any permission from the police, no police not. Then immediately, in consultation with all the officials, we thwarted it in anticipation of an occurrence or of a stampede such as this. But let me be very clear, Raghav sir, heads will roll. We will hold every single person accountable. It doesn't come as a surprise that the BJP is just pointing fingers. One second. It doesn't come as a surprise to me that. One second, let me finish. Heads will roll. We will hold everybody who's accountable. We will fix responsibilities. Everything is underway. Even if it is a member of the government who is held responsible, we will take action against them.
You've said that Sanjay Sahai. How?
Just a small rebuttal. Going by Congress's track record, they will want to hold the security guard of KSCA for letting opening the gate. They will ultimately say
BJP's track record.
They will ultimately say.
Hang on. Let's not. I don't want this to become a slanging match because that doesn't get us any answer. Sanjay Sahai, how much of a role would police have actually had in terms of their inputs being taken? Because some senior police officers I spoke to said that it was they who said the victory parade should not have happened. They said they wanted the event on a Sunday, which is the smarter way to do it. They also said that the government buckled under pressure from RCB and said we have to go ahead with these events. How does it work inside the force? Very briefly.
Actually, all the stakeholders, they were trying to extract their pound of flesh. So it starts from there. And when it comes to the police, I think it is a well-known fact that if the government wants, things will happen. If the government doesn't want, things will not happen. And all these technical issues are being raised in hindsight to cover some tracks which are there in a very, very visible manner. So, and the police saying it happened on Sunday or whatever. So that is also an alibi. Either you agree or you don't agree. And the point is, what I have seen all throughout is that policing slowly has gone to the political class and the powers that be, and even police has started believing that whatever the government says, that is policing.
Yeah, you are saying whatever the government says, that is policing, irrespective. We'll get to you, Syed. Just give me a bit. Let me just put through the other questions that I have. As I mentioned to you at the start, 10 questions, and let's pull up all the questions that we have so far. The first question was, who pushed for the event in a hurry? Was it players' needs that forced the hurry? Was event announced without permissions? Was there FOMO or euphoria, on missing out on the euphoria from the government? Why did they allow the event in the hurry? These are questions that we posed to the government, and that's important. Was 2 events necessary? And I want to come to this question next, which is an important one. Were 2 events necessary in one evening? Sanjay Sahai, from a police force point of view, when you have 2 events of the nature we had yesterday, one in Vidhan Sauda and one here in close proximity, within 6 hours of time, with no time to prepare, how much more stress does it put on the police force? Do you believe ultimately that's where the mistake was?
Who decided that there should be 2 events? So everybody was trying to extract their pound of flesh. The government wanted to, I think, basically bask in reflected glory. And that is what was happening in Vidhan Sauda. And RCB, which got a chance after 18 years, they wanted to flex their muscles in a very celebratory mode that the country, Karnataka and Bangalore would remember for all times to come. There was nobody who was doing the planning. That's the real problem. Deciding is a very simple issue.
Deciding is the simple issue. There was no real planning. Before I come back to my guests who are here, and some of them have really made charged emotional points, which one has heard across the city in terms of the tragedy that happened. But there are several important questions as well that still need to be raised. Let's just listen into some of the eyewitnesses and the political reactions that we had from earlier in the day before we come back to our panel right here and to those who've joined us online.
ಒಂದು 4:30 ಹೋಗಿದ್ವಿ, 4:30 ಹೋಗಿದ್ವಿ. ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಕ್ರೌಡು 20% ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸ್ಟೇಡಿಯಂ ಒಳಗಡೆ 80% ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಗೇಟ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, 50 ಜನ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. 50 ಜನದಲ್ಲಿ 20 ಜನ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬೀಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ತುಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಜನ. ಇವಾಗ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಹೆಂಗಂತಂದರೆ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪೊಲೀಸರಿಂದನೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು 10% ಇವಾಗ ಸಾವು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿರೋದು. ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು 10% ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ
ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸರಿ ಇರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ.
ಹೌದು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಅಂದರೆ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ.
ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರಿ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕ್ರೌಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ
ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಥರ ಫ್ರೀ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೋಗಿದ್ವಿ.
ಈ ಥರ
ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು.
This is Manoj, who was there at the Chinnaswamy, outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium yesterday, wanting to watch the celebrations. What he says that the crowd was immense there. The gate was being opened for a minute and then 50 people were rushing in, wherein many of them were just falling and people were just not aware of what is happening. They were stepping over each other, and he says that the management could have been better. The police failed to control what was happening because of the magnitude of it, and he said that if there was better management and if they knew better of the kind of arrangements that have been made, they would have never made it out. And some of his friends also had some small injuries happening to them. Brother-in-law अभी वो कैसे है, उनका क्या कंडीशन है और क्या हुआ उनके साथ कल?
नहीं एक्चुअली गए थे वहाँ पे सब मिल के, सब उन लोग फ्रेंड लोग के साथ में गए थे, बट वहाँ पे कंट्रोल चूक गया, पुलिस वगैरह सब थे, उसके बावजूद भी कंट्रोल चूकने के बाद ये हादसा हुआ। उतना कुछ मेजर ये नहीं है, माइनर इशू है, थोड़ा ठीक हो जाएंगे, ऑलरेडी आज डिस्चार्ज भी हो जाएंगे, जो भी है रिकवर भी हो चुके हैं वो। वहाँ पे अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो नहीं होना था वो हो गया, बस उतना ही, कंट्रोल नहीं हुआ ना, वो हिसाब से हुआ है और कुछ। हाँ थोड़ी बहुत लगी है, बस उतना ही।
Must be a difficult time for you, given that there was so much joy, it was all organized in eagerness, and then it all turned into a tragedy.
See, I can't express the pain what I'm suffering. We never expected this would happen. But the entire state was watching this event. We are very sorry. I don't want to find fault with some others or politicalize this issue, what BJP and JDS is doing. But we have to rectify what has went wrong. It is our bound duty. At the same time, the family is our family. All of them, they are part of our family. We are very much disturbed on this issue. We will join with them on all occasions on this grief. So some court issue is already going on. Let me reply to speak to you later. I have a cabinet meeting on this issue and other issues are there. We have cancelled all our programs. The pain is, I can't express the pain what we are suffering.
It's been a truly terrible incident in Bengaluru, in your state. Your first reactions on this? I know you were abroad, you were on a different mission altogether, and as you came back, this terrible incident reported from Bengaluru. Your first word on that? You've already seen the government, order a magisterial inquiry and, answer some of those questions. But what is your take on that?
It's so unfortunate. It's so tragic. People of Bangalore did not have a choice to did not get any chance to rejoice. RCB Bangalore gave them a chance to rejoice. But this government, Siddaramaiah-led government, like the way they behaved in the last 2 years, even in this joyous occasion where people wanted to celebrate, people wanted to rejoice the victory of their city's team, this government got into the spectacle and created a tragedy. It's a created tragedy. It's a manufactured tragedy. Government cannot walk away from this responsibility. They cannot shirk away from this responsibility. Accountability has to be fixed because in a city like Bangalore, when you have a separate commissionerate for Bangalore, you have a police commissioner, entire thing is there. This could have been easily preempted. It is not something which couldn't have been preempted. The previous night there were celebrations in the city, and the next day I don't know who planned the entire thing. The DCM has an event in front of Vidhan Sauda, creating a mockery of the whole thing, and we have innocent people dying today in Bangalore, and the government is given another reason. It will be a haunting thing for Bangaloreans.
The tragedy unfolded, the politics plays out, the questions have been raised, but we still don't have answers. We'll take a very short break on the show at the moment, but when we come back, I'll revisit all those 10 questions that we're raising this evening and put it back to the panel for a quick round of reactions. Back with you in a minute. Welcome back to this special edition of the Southern View, an hour long, and we are raising 10 key questions that we think should be answered to fix responsibility and perhaps learn lessons from the tragedy that unfolded right where I'm standing last evening. Not just here, all the gates. These are all, as I called it at the start of the show, gates of tragedy last evening at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. The 10 questions, and let me just repeat those 10 questions again. Who pushed for the event in a hurry? Was it players' needs that forced the hurry? Was event announced without permissions? Was there FOMO or on the euphoria from the government? Why did they allow the event in a hurry otherwise? Were two events necessary, one at the Vidhan Sauda and one at Chinnaswamy Stadium, given that there was such limited time to prepare? Did the police have time to prepare? And obviously not, from the consequences that we saw last evening. Whose responsibility was it to barricade at this venue? Because remember, barricading is a crucial question, and that's a question I'll take up in just a bit with Sanjay Sahai. Whose responsibility was it to barricade and ensure the crowds were properly organized out here and had a place to walk through to form queues? And finally, was too much force at Vidhan Sauda and very less at the stadium? Because that's the other event that played out there. Fortunately, no untoward incidents there. Sanjay Sahai, before I close the show and go to my final question, which I think is perhaps the most important of all this, that's the 11th question. Whose responsibility is it to barricade? We are in an arterial road. Yesterday there was complete traffic on this road. Whose responsibility is it to barricade and ensure that the crowds have a clear line to follow and enter?
I think all of us know it's the responsibility of the police, the agency which is there to provide security and give bandobast arrangement to any event, maybe a cricket event or you're doing any event of the nature which we had yesterday. So regarding that, there is absolutely no doubt.
But
the issue comes, did they even plan for it? Well, was there time to do the planning? And the most
How long does it take to barricade for an event like this?
It all depends the way you take it on yourself. A Prime Minister's visit can be done in 6 hours to 8 hours. If you have decided to get the resources, you can get the resources. The state has all the resources. And if today you ask for a rapid action force, I don't think the central government can deny a rapid action force to you. It will be made available to you. It is basically laxity. It is laxity, it is negligence, and it is, I think they were in a very, very festive sort of a fervor that everything will go on fine. When you don't know how many people will come, as per a very candid confession that 50,000 were expected. What you will do with the barricading if you do a barricading for 50,000 people? You are talking of a barricade which happens in cricket matches. That will not be...
You expected a cricket match, you didn't expect a sea of humanity. Sadashiv Shivanna, final question, irrespective of what may be the facts, the final responsibility lies with the government. Before I go to the 11th question, which I think is the most important for this evening.
We take utmost responsibility, and as I started off by saying, those 11 lives that are lost cannot be brought back. That is the harsh reality. Insofar as redressal mechanisms are concerned, one, an FIR has been registered by Cubbon Park Police Station. Investigation is underway. Number two, we have the Honorable Chief Minister who, via an order, directed a magisterial inquiry which will conduct the investigation in a time-bound fashion of 15 days. Number three, the Honorable High Court has taken suo motu cognizance of the issue, and the Advocate General put forth a statement of facts and truth, ensuring that the statistics are out. How many police officials were employed? On a regular match, you would have about 500 officials. On this day, we had 1,500 police officials employed. Despite this lack of communication, lack or a tearing hurry in which the ceremony was conducted, everything will be held accountable. And Raghav sir, let me tell you, heads will roll, irrespective of who it is, whether they belong to our party or not. We will take collective accountability and sack everybody.
Heads will roll, you say. Heads will roll. He says we will wait for seeing who is going to be fixed with the blame for it, whether it is going to be a lowly police officer or is it going to be at the top of the leadership. Whoever is going to be responsible, we'll see for that. But my final question, and I think this is the most important, stampedes are a reality in India. This is not the first one that we've seen, but will it be the last? Will we ever learn our lessons? And finally, even when the stampede was on and the tragedy had unfolded, celebrations were still on from fans, the politicians and everybody else. Should that have been curtailed? I'm going to go one final round with my last question. Will we learn anything from a stampede, or is it chalta hai? One more will happen another day. We will all fight, we will tweet, we'll post on X, we will argue and we'll forget it.
I think Bangaloreans truly are heartbroken today. I think we must learn from this. Prevention is better than cure. I think if the police, the administration, all of them are very serious about the deaths, they need to take measures and control. The fact of the matter is our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Siddaramaiah ji, chose not to come to Chinnaswamy Stadium and headed straight to the Bowring Hospital. This speaks volumes of the kind of a leader he is. Also, as a matter of fact, let us understand that 15 days is the ultimatum given. So we Bangaloreans will hold him responsible as to the magisterial inquiry should not just be a shadow. It should come results, and not a low-lying officer, but somebody who really matters. Also, one last point, Veera, it's sad that we had only 5,000 police officers for 3 to 4 lakh people. Let us understand, largely nationally we are understaffed as police. Police recruitment needs to happen, and let me tell you, we cannot pin the complete blame on police because they are not Avengers with superpowers. They are humans like us. So those who hold power must roll their head too.
Yes, there are 2 points. One, firstly, to say that a magistrate inquiry is ordered, it is not enough because a district magistrate will report to the chief minister. We would require an inquiry or something by a sitting high court judge wherein they can summon the chief minister if required. A DM will not. And moreover, to say that Siddaramaiah was compassionate, definitely not. They've announced 10 lakhs compensation, so be it. But just recall when a so-called Karnataka elephant trampled somebody in Kerala, Siddaramaiah announced 25 lakhs compensation to the man who was trampled by an elephant, apparently belonging to Karnataka. But for the loss of life here, this man has announced 10 lakhs.
I'm running out of time. I asked.
He's announced 10 lakhs. And for an elephant stampede, he announces 25 lakhs because it happens to be the constituency of Congress First Family.
My final question, will we learn from this tragedy? Do you believe as a society we learn, because stampedes are a reality whether any part of India, irrespective of which government is in power?
See, society will definitely change. They will know what the tragedy has taken place, and citizens would definitely be aware next time. But the buck will stop with the government, whose duty is to ensure, provide proper security and governance to the people.
क्या हम कुछ सीखेंगे? Will we learn anything?
As a common आदमी के हिसाब से मैं इतना कहना चाहूँगा, सेलिब्रिटियों के पीछे भागना छोड़ दो। जब भी आप घर से निकलो तो पहले अपने माँ बाप बहन भाई का चेहरा देखो। ये बसें भेजते हैं, इलेक्शन में बसें भेजते हैं, खाने की तैयारी करते हैं, 10-10 बसें भेजते हैं। इनके लालच में मत पड़ो, ये सिर्फ तुम्हें इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। जब भी घर से निकलो अपने माँ बाप का चेहरा देख कर निकलना।
All right, emotional point there, Sanjay Sahai. My last question, and I'm not very optimistic about the answers. Tragedies.
How many of the governments in this country even understand what is crowd management, and how many of them are interested in crowd management, and what is the purpose of government and political parties is not to understand crowd management, governance, and to deliver a nature of crowd management which will sort out these matters. From Hathras till today, I think nearly 6 to 7 major crowd mismanagements leading to deaths have happened. Had we learned there, and every single time we said that we will learn, had we learned there, Bangalore wouldn't have happened.
Bangalore wouldn't have happened had we learnt there. Will we learn from here to make sure another event in another city doesn't happen of this nature? It's a question to all of us, to the police, to the government, to society, to fans, to everyone who's in a crowd. That's all we have time for on the show this evening. Thanks for watching.